I love me sticky cigars.
When you decide to tour the Eagle Creek mine, you will have an opportunity to actually visit two mines. You will go underground and take a walking tour through the mines. The two mines are connected, so it might appear that you are walking through one mine, but our tour started with the original equipment that was used for hard rock mining. Now, with hard rock mining, the equipment is used to pulverize the rock, and within the quartz rocks, they were finding gold, silver, and copper. There's an extensive process to then extract the gold, copper, and silver from the pulverized rock. And during the tour, you will have an opportunity to hear about that whole process. Originally, they had tried to break the rocks with sledgehammers. Soon they discovered that was not going to work. So the equipment that you see in this video includes a 5-rod rock crushing machine that was steam operated, and those 5 pistons held the crush mechanism that would then smash down onto the rock and then pulverize the dust, and then they would proceed with the other steps to collect the gold, silver, and copper from the pulverized rock. The next area we would tour is the actual mine.
All the way down here.
I'll stand by you, sir. How's that sound?
Well, for those of you that are joining us just now, I want to welcome you to the historic Eagle Mine. My name's Wayne. I'll be your tour. This is the rock that has the quartz in it. I think John may have told you guys up there that we're up at that machine with John. This gold that's in this rock, we usually can't see it because it's embedded inside the rock, and it's really super fine, what they call flour gold. That's why they would have to crush this down into that flour-like powder in order to get the gold out of it. So we usually don't get to see the gold in here, but occasionally we... Alright. Let's come on down and spread out down here so we can get everybody in. Kind of narrow passes there. Down so we can continue the tour. Thank you. All right. Okay, guys. This is that first vein of quartz they ran into coming in here. This is called the Eagle vein. Now remember, they could see on the surface all these on the ceiling of this brick tunnel, and that's how they got the gold out of here. Once again. Oh, sir, could you kill that light there? It's really blinding, and we got plenty of light in here with all this is all lit. In the mine on either side of the tunnel here. Please try to keep up with the tour, okay? I appreciate it. So we're getting ready to go through this. Oh, before we go through this next wooden structure, I want you to notice how these tracks all run slightly uphill. Now, if you turn around and look behind us, you'll see it's downhill all the way to that opening down there. This is by design. Put 2,000 pounds of rock in about a 600-pound iron cart and then try to push it. Good luck, right? So now they're using gravity to roll their carts out. Also, when it rains outside now, it won't flood the mine. So when we go through this next structure here, we're going to pass into another mine, a second mine for today. All right? This is called the High Peak Mine. So after we travel through 1,000 feet through a solid rock mountain, we're going to come out on We're going to want people to see part of that splitter. They didn't use dynamite or nitroglycerin in this mine because it was too expensive. So they made their own charges out of black powder. Because of that, there were no matches allowed in the mine. Have you ever struck a match and seen a spark go flying off?
Yeah.
One of those sparks lands in a box of black powder, everybody be having a very bad day, right? So no matches allowed in the mine. You couldn't even have a match in your pocket. You had to light your candle outside with a match. Then once you're inside the mine, you could only light it off of another burning candle, either your own or someone else's. When we go by this little room here that has the big red iron gate and the big red warning sign on it, I just want you to take a quick look in there to look at that mine shaft in there. We do have to get into this next room, so please don't linger there. But I want to show you, there's another one of those hoist buckets. So when you go in, when you walk by there and look at that hole in the ground there, bear in mind that hole is 425 feet, or 27 stories, or 130 meters deep.
Wow.
So you can imagine what it would be like getting lowered down that shaft in that bucket with nothing for light but a candle in your cowboy hat.
Oh my.
Right? I'll bet gold fever probably had something to do with that.
Yeah, right.
So come on down, guys. And try not to linger here. We have this other room we've got to get into.
So then the mining down.
You step right in this way.
Which
Take a
way?
look.
That road?
Check out that underneath that bench there. See that hole over there.
Oh, yes, thank you, friend. I do. Oh, that's ominous.
So if we could get everybody in here, that means we're all gonna have to pack in here pretty tight. If you wanna come all tied together at the top, the bottom of those legs would be spread out around the opening down there. There'd be a pulley tied in there, and then that cable would run from this spool all the way through that pulley to the hoist bucket, and it would raise and lower that bucket. Now here's where the hoist operator stood. This is called a hit and miss engine. This is an archaic piece of 19th century technology. This machine was built in 1896. It was very loud. Here's the exhaust right here, right by the operator's head.
Very
Do you
nice.
think he'd be able to hear the foreman down on the bottom of that 425
No way.
hole yelling up orders? No. So what they do, they had the California shaft bell signal system in place. This system was in place from the late 1800s to the early 1900s until somebody invented the intercom. Although since this is a one-way form of communication, I'm pretty sure it avoided a lot of arguments. Right? So everybody had to memorize all these signals here like you would your alphabet. So when the foreman down there is ready to hoist a bucket of rock, he would ring the bell twice and then once to hoist rock. So there's a cable that ran from this bell through a smaller pulley that went all the way down to that foreman down there. So when he wants to raise the rock, it would sound like this. 2 bells in one, right? That's loud, huh?
It is.
Think you'd be able to hear that right next to his head over this machine?
Maybe.
I think so. So now, there, like I said, there were other signals here. So you can see this one says 3 bells in one. man on, men to be hoisted. Right? So run slowly. So he's telling the hoist.
Oh, yes. That's a little tricky.
Yeah.
How far should I go in?
You can go all the way back there and have a seat on those benches. Feel free to check out some of these artifacts on your way down there.
Nice.
I had to catch one lady up there, that's where I stand right here. She did it. She's almost went backwards by the grab her, Gary.
Sit down right here, bro. Follow you.
Yeah, he said.
Pretty cool, huh?
So what happens when it blows out and he has to light a match?
Well, he can't light a match.
Right. So
And does anybody happen to have a lighter? Somebody keeps stealing the lighters down here.
Oh my. Yeah.
This will be helpful. Thank
That was
you.
brave of you
So
to
I-
admit that. That you smoke.
I don't. I just carry it all
Oh,
the time.
jeez.
I should, but okay, there you go, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that
All right, so this is what it would have been like for him to work down here. Could you please turn your light off?
Oh my.
So
That's
dark.
scary.
Let's make sure everybody's cell phone is off. And all the lights in the house and the whole neighborhood, there's no street lights or anything. It's just as dark as it was in here just a minute ago. You think you could find your way to the bathroom in your own house
Yep.
in the dark?
Yep.
You might hit your shin on a coffee table or bump your head on a cabinet or something, but you know where your bathroom is in your own house, right? And you wouldn't have to find his way all the way out of here. You just have to find somebody with another burning candle, which wouldn't be too hard in that kind of darkness, would it?
Right.
Okay, guys, come on down here. Here we have some of the tools that the powder man used for drilling the holes to put their black powder charges in to blast these tunnels in here. Now come on down this way a little farther. We're going to have to kind of crowd everybody down here a little bit too so people in the back can see this. Come on down, guys. Please don't pick on the walls back there, okay? Come on down, guys. Look, we got to fill this trips in here. So a few weeks ago, we had this one field trip in here, and this little 8-year-old kid, he was standing right about where you are right now. And I turn around here, I go, everybody see this over my head right here? He points up there and he yells out, "It's the Indiana Jones trap!"
Yeah, right.
Right? Now I can't unsee it. So actually, this is the main air ventilation shaft for this section of mine. This is where all that engine exhaust, everybody's bad breath, BO, everything like that to go up here. And you can feel the breeze coming in through this tunnel right here. That air that's coming in here is replacing the air that's going up through this shaft like a chimney.
Nice.
So the other end of this hole is 400 feet up. So I have good news and I have bad news. I'll give you the bad news first right now. You ready for the good news?
It's
We're
stable.
going out this way right now. Come on down, guys. Watch your heads coming through here. Some of these ceilings are low.
Whew. Awesome. Okay.
So how long would it take? How far would they take? 4 feet to 12 hours shift. 8 feet per day.
You can tell the different shifts, huh? Who's digging high and who's low. You can tell who the tall guy shift is.
Yeah.
No.
Is everybody?